You're tuned into SEC Sunday Night, part of the Chief Sports Network.
Grab your drink and grab a snack, and welcome to SEC Sunday Night Live on the Chief Sports Network. We are proudly presented by Hewitt Damaduros Law, HDLawSC.com for personal injury and more. Go talk to Dean and Brad, and they will not only win your case and put money in your pocket, they'll create a great relationship with you. These guys want to get to know you. They want to hear your story. They want to fight for you. So go to HDLawSC.com. Hewitt Damaduros, proudly presenting SEC Sunday Night right here live on the Chief Sports Network. I'm Rob Williams. He's Craig McMichael. And before we get started tonight, I want to welcome everybody in that was just watching Rooster Rant here on the Chief Sports Network. For all of our SEC fans who are excited to break down Week 5, we have a special treat for you. Obviously, we're here early tonight. And so I'm going to go ahead and kick it back to Friday, where Daily Joy was on site in Athens. And we'll see how many I was wrong statements can we attribute to me or Joy. Little challenge for you, Craig.
Mambo number 5, baby. 1, 2, 3, 4.
For anybody watching, keep a tally. Let's see who was wrong more times, me or Joy. We'll be right back after throwing it back to Friday predictions. Welcome back to SEC Sunday Night Live on the Chief Sports Network. We are here always with our friend Daily Joy on the SEC Pretty Campus Tour, and Joy is live in a stadium for us. Look around. Look how beautiful it is, Craig. You're just going to love this when you get to see this segment. It is Friday, and so we are looking into some wonderful games this weekend. So first of all, Joy, how are you, and how is Athens?
I mean, I'm great. Athens is great. I think probably one of the best college towns in America, if not the best college town in America. Don't let the people in Tuscaloosa hear that. Hear me say that too loud. But yeah, no, it's great. Energy's great. Excited to watch a very good game between two very good teams.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this game between Alabama and Georgia gets a lot of recognition and hype, and we'll pick it here in just a few minutes. But it has a slightly different feel to me this year. Obviously, we have questions about Alabama. There have been some questions about Georgia even kind of coming into the year. I feel like they just kind of flew under the radar. But as it stands right now today, if I have to pick one team that I think is the best in the SEC, you know, I lean towards Georgia, but I think this is a big opportunity for them to continue to prove that after what they did in Knoxville. In your estimation, kind of what's on the line here on both sides of the field? On the one hand, you've got Kirby Smart, and on the other side, you've got Kalen DeBoer. What's on the line for the Dogs and the Tide tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was having this conversation with a friend of mine earlier today. The problem that I have with Alabama is that I just don't trust Kalen DeBoer yet. Like, that level of trust has not been instilled in me. Whereas, like, I am always going to pick Georgia right now because Kirby Smart is their head coach. Like, the amount of trust that I have in Kirby far outweighs the amount of trust I have in Kalen DeBoer. Now, I did say that if Alabama went into Athens, comes into Georgia, and takes care of business, I do feel like that gives Kalen a level of superiority, a level of trust that has been missing since he joined the SEC. Obviously, they beat Georgia last year, but beating Georgia at Alabama, yes, while impressive, is not necessarily a feat worth like hanging your trust on. Whereas, like, I feel like if he comes in here, into an away game, into an away environment that will be toxic, that will be loud, and defeats Georgia, who, let's be honest right now, is still the standard in the Southeastern Conference. If he does that, there is a different level of trust that I would have in Kalen and the Tide moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So many opinions. The fact that we're going to get real implications on the field and real statistics, a win and a loss. We're going to get some data that tells us how the standings are going to shake out as we move forward with this game. Forget all of that. Our opinion and feelings are hanging on this game, and that's what everybody wants to talk about. That's kind of the deal with the game there behind you. We'll talk about who we think is going to win that in just a moment. We have some other big games this weekend. Obviously, South Carolina, Kentucky is one that I have my eye on to see if either of these teams can find a win in SEC play and maybe try to right the ship a little bit. I know that for you, South Carolina getting off to a better note is probably not a great thing in terms of getting some confidence behind Lenora Sellers going into a bye week and then heading to Baton Rouge. You prefer that they stay in the dumps, I think, but that's not really one that we need to pay much attention to because to be honest, right now they're at the both of those teams are towards the bottom of the league. One team that appears to be slipping to the bottom of the league, though, that I think we need to look at tomorrow is Arkansas against Notre Dame. You just saw the Irish recently. Is this a game where the Hogs can punch up? Pittman always has that one game where they get somebody. Is this a game where Arkansas gets it done against the Irish?
I love that you're asking me about this game. I talked about this game on my way into Athens. I think Arkansas gets it done. I think Taylon Green chews up Notre Dame's defense. I think that's the thing about Notre Dame is if you've watched them all season long, their defense has been abysmal. I mean, they gave up 30 points to a Purdue offense that is not very good. I think Arkansas will be rocking. I think the home field advantage will definitely come into play here. Pittman probably, I think Pittman at this point is just like riding the high. Like, I think he kind of knows, like, this is not my forever job. I'm not winning a natty, but hell, I'm going to have fun while I'm here. And I think this is the game that happens for him. He always tends to have a game like that. And I think it just comes a little bit earlier in the season this year. And I think Taylon Green is the quarterback that really shows that this Notre Dame defense is not what you're used to seeing from Notre Dame defenses. So yeah, I'm taking Arkansas. I'm rocking with Arkansas heavy this week. I think they really take care of things against Notre Dame.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. If we look at other upset opportunities, we have Mississippi State. They're a 7.5-point favorite. As much as I would like to say the cowbells are going to ring loud enough to take the Vols down, I don't know that I feel as confident about this one happening. But maybe a little bit of a road test in the league for Tennessee to kind of see what they're working with now that they have shown us that they're the surprise team and they're going to make a push for the SEC championship. Any thoughts there before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, I like Blake Shapen at Mississippi State. I think he's a good quarterback. I'm interested to see how Tennessee does against another SEC opponent. I think they were really riding high against Georgia. I think this could potentially, we could potentially label it a trap game if we wanted to. I think Tennessee takes care of business, but it wouldn't surprise me if they let Mississippi State hang around a little longer than they probably should.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Auburn is headed to College Station to take on Texas A&M. This one is probably the most this one and one other, I think, are the most divisive games for me because I picked Auburn to be 9-3 this year. I had a lot of faith in them, and then dropping that game against Oklahoma last week. My preseason picks from the spring are like 48-12 right now. We're doing really well, but Texas A&M, I did pick to win this game in April, and so I'm going to kind of stick to my guns. I think this could go either way, to be honest with you. I don't really – if Jackson Arnold can process a little faster, to your point, off the air, I think Auburn gets it done. I just don't know that I have a lot of faith in A&M and Mike Elko to be anything other than 7-5, 8-4.
Yeah, I mean, there's no surprises here for me about how I feel about A&M. If you follow me on social media, then you know exactly how I feel about the cult school labeled in College Station. I'll actually surprise for the SEC Sunday night listeners. If you're listening, I'll be there next weekend. But I think the tricky thing for me about this game is that if you really go back and watch Oklahoma-Auburn, Auburn probably should have won that game. Sure, you don't give up 10 sacks. I'm not someone that completely blames the referees for everything, but Auburn had that game. And so I struggle with this game because I just don't exactly know. I know. I think Auburn had the game, which I'm giving myself away here because me and Rob have gone back and forth about that game. But that doesn't mean that I have complete faith in Jackson Arnold. I think Auburn won that game and kind of got a little bit screwed towards the end. But at the same point of reference, like, you can't give up 10 sacks. And as an LSU fan, no one understands offensive line struggles this year more than I do. I'm a little worried about their ability to protect Jackson Arnold and for him to get the job done, not because of his abilities, but because of their line's incapability of protecting him. I do think Texas A&M's defensive line is going to give him a little bit of trouble. I also don't love that it's at A&M. If I had to pick a team to lean toward, I would lean toward Auburn, but I think we are strongly underestimating A&M's ability to make that the most toxic environment Auburn plays in all year if we're not careful.
Okay, here's the next game that really divides me before we pick the Alabama-Georgia game where you are in Athens right now. You know, this game between Ole Miss and LSU, I think, provides us everything that we need on a college football Saturday. Last Sunday night, we asked the question at the end of the show, and to our listeners and everyone else, are you more excited for Georgia, Alabama, or Ole Miss, LSU? And I'm standing firmly on Ole Miss, LSU as the game that I'm anticipating the most and I'm the most excited for. And I think that's why I got the 3:30 slot. And we're going to see something out of one of these teams that is going to catapult them, I think, for the rest of the season. And as someone who picked LSU to win the SEC in 2025, I need to stick to those guns and stand with them, and I think that's what I'm going to do. But man,
that's smart on your part, Rob.
I love Trinidad Chambliss, and I love what the Rebels are doing right now. And I have some questions. About how this game is going to play out. I don't think it gets away from either team, Joy. I think that we're looking at one of these wild and weird LSU Ole Miss type games where something crazy, something potentially controversial is going to happen towards the end of the game. Do you have thoughts about how this is going to play out? Because I know who you're going to pick, so we don't even need to ask that question. But do you have thoughts on what the major factors are here other than Landry, Kiffin, and Whit Weeks?
Okay, first of all, calm down, because I am the queen of picking against my university. So the idea that you would just assume I'm picking LSU is quite offensive to me.
Are you
secondly,
not?
I think let me finish. Secondly, I think that this game will come down to the run game and specifically LSU's run game. Now, here is the thing. Everyone is talking about Caleb Durham's availability. He's hurt. He's a game time decision, and that's totally fine. However, LSU's backup running back saw so many carries last week and actually was quite divisive if you actually paid attention to that game at all. Now, I understand you're playing Southeastern Louisiana in comparative to Ole Miss, but Ole Miss's run defense has been absolutely atrocious all season. So if we can even get our backup going, I'm not even concerned about Caleb Durham. I'm over here saying, like, let's let everyone run. Hell, let Garrett Nussmeier run on occasion. We saw what he could do last week. He got like a 26-yard gain, and we were all freaking out and acting like it was the end of the world. So I think the run defense for Ole Miss is ultimately what gives way here. I do think LSU's offensive line is something to pay attention to. It was obviously week, and then you lost an offensive lineman for the first half due to a dumb, stupid targeting call. I caught myself there. But
Go for it.
So I think there's a lot of question marks in this game. Obviously, I do like Trinidad Chambliss. I think he's a great quarterback. I think the part that everyone is forgetting is that LSU's defense isn't just good. LSU's defense is elite, and this is by far the best defense Ole Miss has seen all season long. I think and with Chambliss, yeah, we've been impressed so far, but against who? I think this defense, and specifically, I'm calling on Harold Perkins. I think this is a Harold Perkins nightmare game for Trinidad Chambliss. I'm hoping that when I go to sleep on Saturday night, that's who I'm remembering, just seeing torture him into oblivion. I'm also really would like to say thank you to the TV networks that chose to put this game at 3:30 because the outcome of this game will determine how I act in this stadium after the game. So if you see me and I'm smiling and I'm great, it's because LSU won. And if you see me and you don't think I know my own name, it's because LSU lost.
Yep, we'll see how you feel. We'll definitely be in communication to figure out if you need a wellness check or not.
Yeah, Rob, our text messages are to stay private after the game on Saturday.
I'll try to. I have a couple screenshots of that thread leading into some games, but we'll see what happens during the game. I might try to keep that private. Okay.
Good call.
So you have a guest picker for us here as we get ready for this game? Is that what's going on?
Okay, you know him. You love him. Will you grab that crew neck too? You know him. You love him. You have seen him all over social media. And he's one of my really good friends. He won't probably love my pick for this game, but I do have the best Alabama Twitter account that has ever existed in Cruz Oxenrider here with me today. So he is going to help us. He's going to be a guest picker. He's gonna live his best life today, helping us pick the Georgia Alabama game.
How's it going, guys?
Cruz, what's going on? Happy to have you here on SEC Sunday Night.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Give us your thoughts about this game specifically. What are the keys for Kalen DeBoer and Alabama as they come into Georgia and try to take down Kirby Smart and the Dogs?
So a lot like last year, starting fast. Last year jumped out to a 28-0 start. I don't expect the same thing to happen this time, but finishing drives, not killing yourself penalty wise. Keeping your foot on the pedal, not giving a team like this, like Georgia, a chance to come back, like Tennessee did 2 weeks ago. They had their foot on their neck and just let loose, and Georgia came back. Alabama can't do this, especially in this environment. I think also something to look out for Georgia. Eliminating the big plays. Alabama leads the SEC, I believe, in passes down the field more than 20 yards the last 3 games or the last 3 weeks. So I think a lot of people are reading way too much into the week 1 matchup. It's nothing to sneeze at, but I think it's definitely moved on the way it has. But I expect a lot more balance in this game, and I think whoever wins inside the trenches is gonna walk away. I know Georgia is weak on the right side right now. Alabama gets Tim Keenan back, and I want to see what that matchup's going to look like.
Yep, absolutely. I agree. So let's let the rubber meet the road here for both of you. Do we have not just a pick, but a score prediction? Can we go that far?
Yeah, I think we can. I'm going to shock a lot of people here. I'm actually going to take the University of Georgia. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. So give me Alabama 38-31. Gunnar Stockton throws a game-losing interception on the final drive of the game.
Wow, I love it. All right, Joy, what you got?
I don't know if I'm comfortable enough to give a score prediction. But I said it at the beginning of the show, and I stand by it. I trust Kirby more than I trust Kalen, so I'm taking the Dogs on Saturday night, and Sanford and Cruz is about to disfriend me.
Fun fact: Kalen DeBoer is 6-0 versus Dan Lanning, Steve Sarkisian, and Kirby Smart, and not to mention.
Why are we talking about Dan Lanning and Steve Sarkisian? They're not here.
I'm just saying,
irrelevant.
They're the big three.
Irrelevant.
And then also this: Kalen DeBoer is undefeated coming off a bye week.
Irrelevant.
I'll actually I'll make Craig happy, and I'll stand with Joy. I'm going to go 27-24 Dogs.
Thank you so much.
All right, so
okay, wait. I have a little sneak peek. Will you?
Yeah, let's see it. Let's see what you got.
All right. So SEC Pretty surprise announcement. We are releasing crew necks, so you can order them today. Cruz is going to hold it up for me. They're just absolutely sick, and
We love it.
We
That's
love 'em.
incredible.
I'm not SEC pretty, but
What are we doing?
He is
You are,
SEC
Cruz.
Pretty.
You are absolutely SEC
he's
Pretty.
SEC Pretty.
SECpretty.com. Get your hats. Get your crew necks. What are we doing? I'll have mine in a couple weeks, and I'll wear it for you guys on the show. So make sure that you get online and put your orders in now. We still have plenty of football left. And you know what? You can be SEC Pretty all year round. We don't have to wear it just to the tailgate. Make sure that you do that. Daily Joy, our good friend here live from Athens. We will be back in just a minute after this break. Joy, thanks a lot for being here with us as always.
Thanks, Rob. See you next
bye,
week.
guys.
OTC is go.
Packet is go.
PTC is go.
LPS is go. Houston flight is go. Pilot go.
FTM is go.
Safety com is go.
SCU is go. LRD is go.
SRO is go.
CDI is go. Launch director NTD, our launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
It's SEC Sunday Night, presented by Hewitt Diamodoris. Visit hdlawsc.com. It's go time.
Welcome back to SEC Sunday Night here live on the Chief Sports Network. Whoa, a lot of interesting takes from me and Joy on Friday. Obviously, we both picked LSU. We both picked Georgia. She had some things to say about Auburn. I stuck with Texas A&M. So interesting. The one thing that I got right, the one thing that I can say that I got right, I did stick with A&M, but we're not going to go there yet. is that I said that Mississippi State could challenge Tennessee, but wouldn't quite have enough to get it done. I think Joy agreed with me on that. I think, just a moment there where we can just applaud what's happening in Stark Vegas. Much better than most people expected. I was
Including us.
I didn't put them at the bottom. You had a lot of bad things to say about them preseason.
I didn't put them at the bottom. I put them at 15.
Okay. I didn't. Maybe I did too. But I did say that they were going to be better than expected.
My wife got B. Arthur in here.
And hit something. I see your photos behind you. Hey, it's beautiful. It looks great. Especially on that.
B. Arthur Golden Girls party. And there you go. B. Arthur was hanging out behind me. Hey, I have a question.
It looks better than Sanford.
Will HD Law take care of me as I sue the University of Alabama for pain and suffering and having to rewatch whatever the heck happened again? Sorry, Jeff Levy. Yes, I'm stealing your flowers. Great. You almost won. But
no, I think that if you go to hdlawsc.com and you want to talk to Brad or Dean at Hewitt Damaduros, then you can have a great conversation with them about how they might be able to defend you against the University of Alabama.
Not only are you a sponsor of the show, but you are also my attorney.
They are also our attorneys. That's correct. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of news that matters. Let's not bury the lead here. We're going to have Connor Goodson on in just a few minutes to talk about Sam Pittman being fired in Arkansas. Another big moment there that I think, if Joy was available to jump on with us right now, would be the big I was wrong that I would point out is that, we both felt a little bit like Arkansas was going to put up a fight against Notre Dame. She actually said, I'm riding with Arkansas heavy this weekend. And that did not work out as any of us really saw it happening. Domination in Fayetteville, and Sam Pittman gets the axe. So we'll be on just a few minutes with Connor Goodson to talk about what's going on there. How's that coaching search going to shape up? Right now you got Bobby Petrino in the interim job. He says he wants the full-time job. We'll save the jokes for when Connor gets here and the comments and all of those things. Craig, most impressive team for you yesterday? We have some big matchups. You got Texas A&M and Auburn. You got Ole Miss, LSU. You obviously have Georgia and Alabama. I wouldn't think it would come from outside of that grouping, but if it does, then you let me know. Who stands out to you as the biggest winner of week 5?
Biggest winner was Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, and I think I have picked Lane now for the second week in a row. It's my big mea culpa. But no, actually, I did pick Ole Miss to beat LSU this week. But what I have seen is Lane Kiffin has matured, and he is still a troll on social media, which I love, and I hope that never changes. But you see as a coach, he is patient. He continues to evolve. He is not taking chances. They talked about it yesterday. He is not, automatically going for fourth down all the time, but he is finding, I think he's settling in, and I would argue he has leveled up Ole Miss. And I cannot wait to have a nice drink with you, my friend, at City Grocery, as Oxford will be rocking for the playoff.
Are we going to finally get that? Is that what's happening here? Because for those of you, the few of you who have stuck around through all the us from the It Just Means More Football and Coffee days,
Yep.
You know that early last year we just hammered the Ole Miss hosting a playoff game. We're going to be there. We're showing up to the Grove. We're going to City Grocery. We want to see Lane in the playoff. We want to see Oxford host that type of game. Maybe we were just a year early, Craig.
No,
it looks like
our luck's going to be Lane and Ole Miss is going to win the SEC, and like Oxford's not going to be able to host. They're going to go into the Sugar Bowl.
But still, our prediction that you're exactly right about our luck. That's what's going to happen. But still, I think that our prediction may have just been a year early, and I don't think that anybody was on the train of thinking, no pun intended, that this would be the year for Ole Miss, considering the defenders that they had last year that we knew they were going to lose. Not to mention Jackson Dart moving on. Kudos.
Our NFL winning starting quarterback Jackson Dart. Take that, first round mock.
I was trying to set it up for you and give you a compliment, and you just stole it right out of my hands. And just had to be all cocky and take it for yourself. I was just trying to hand it to you. Geez, come on now. All right. seriously
What about you?
though,
Who's your winner? Who's your winner?
Here's
Georgia?
what I'll say. No, not Georgia. My winner yesterday is actually Tennessee, because quietly still building a resume. Okay, those are the types of games that I think that Josh Heupel has to go in and win in order to make it to the end of this season and make another playoff run. And you talk about who's going to land in Atlanta, and we'll get to that. I think I have that in the agenda for us later on in the night, so I don't want to steal our thunder and make those predictions too early before we've talked things out. But I think that in order for Tennessee to stay on track with that, you got to have some gritty type of wins. You had that type of game against Georgia, and they weren't able to pull it off, right? It was right there, and they snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. And so now you have an opportunity to go and win a tight one in the league on the road, albeit Mississippi State. But still, I think it's a confidence builder for those guys. When you're on those teams, you don't feel the swing as much as what the fans do in terms of, well, this team is so much better than that team or whatnot. When it's inside the SEC and you're on the road, every win feels like you earned it. And so I think that's a boost for Tennessee.
Yeah, I feel like they really jacked up the cowbells yesterday too. I felt like every time Mississippi State did something right. I mean, I don't know if somebody was going after the cowbells, but I saw a lot of Mississippi State Twitter last week talking about, the right way to do it, the right way they're going. So I'm going to give you a shout out, Michael. And yes, I think Mississippi State was a winner. But to piggyback on you, Rob, what's most impressive about that Volunteer win? It wasn't just the offense. Tennessee had 14 points from the defense. They had a pick six and they had a scoop and score. So it was a total team effort in order to make sure that they did not get zapped in Stark Vegas.
Absolutely. Speaking of pick sixes and scoop and scores, let's make a run through all of the scores in the SEC really quickly before we get on to some bigger news. Pick six and a scoop and score for the Gamecocks as they take down Kentucky 35-13 at home. As we said previously, Ole Miss 24-19 over LSU. 24-21, Alabama holds on. The late Georgia rally falls a little short. Texas A&M 16-10 over Auburn at home in a very defensive type of battle. Tennessee, as we said, 41-34 over Mississippi State in overtime. 55-35, Vanderbilt takes down Utah State. And so no trip ups for Vanderbilt. And now they're set up for a bigger challenge. Missouri does what they're supposed to do against a lesser opponent, 42-6 over UMass. And then, as we said before, Arkansas goes down to Notre Dame 56-13. And that ends the career of one Sam Pittman. All right, so that's kind of the rundown. You have a lack of Oklahoma, a lack of Texas on the schedule. Yesterday, no Billy in Florida playing yesterday either, and so a little bit of a pause on that story and that narrative as we move forward. Before we get back into Arkansas, we talked to Connor Craig. Let's talk about initial reactions from Georgia and Alabama. I know as you're watching the game, I'll just say it from my perspective, sitting in Williams-Brice, I have the TV above me to be able to kind of stay tuned in with what's happening. And I don't want to say I was shocked at the way that Alabama jumps out to a lead, because we've seen you texted me and said, I've seen this movie before. Yep. And I completely agree. As we get into the third quarter and Georgia scores that touchdown to pull it within 3 in the third quarter, I looked at my buddy next to me and said, watch out. Here come the dogs. This is exactly how I think most people are expecting this to roll. But that's where it ended. The story, if you look at the scoring summary, nothing happens after that third quarter score. And so it's
that's not true. That's not true. That is not true. And this is where I'm going to roast Georgia fans. Georgia fans were all over Kirby Smart last night for the fourth down conversion. Well, let's go back even before the fourth down conversion. Gunner threw a beautiful pass to the end zone, which went right through a freshman wide receiver's hands. I thought Carson Beck came back and was playing quarterback for us for a minute there. But right there, that would have been like in the third quarter. That would have put Georgia up. So I chalked that one up. And then the other part was Chauncey Bowens was a dog last night. I mean, he looked fantastic out there. And sure, there was a third down call. Georgia's got like fourth and 1. Cash Jones is in the game. They're trying to go tempo. They're trying to go fast. They pitch it to the right for Jones. Alabama has a defender knife through, tackle Jones for a loss. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, Kirby's such a moron. Kirby's such an idiot. He should kick the field goal there. No. If you play to win the game, you don't kick the field goal. You convert the fourth down, and then you go score a touchdown. Hindsight is so easy. It's so easy to sit in your armchair. It's so easy to sit in the stands and say, oh, he should have kicked the field goal. Yeah, well, guess what? If they convert that and then they score a touchdown, you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, look at Kirby Smart. That was such a great call. That was exactly who he is. That's exactly what it's about." And instead, now you got people ripping on Kirby Smart. You know what? I love the fact that he kept attacking and he stayed true to himself. Sure, it didn't work out, but guess what? It stinks, but they can continue to move on. What's frustrating, and the most frustrating thing about that game, is the Georgia defense. Kirby Smart said at the start of the game, we have to get pressure on Ty Simpson. He brought pressure. He brought 5. He brought 6. He never got to Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson was comfortable back there, and that is why Georgia was shredded for 13 out of 19 Alabama conversions on third down. You can tell I'm a little fired up and a little irritated, but it's because we have a standard and we have an expectation. We're going to talk to Connor in just a minute about adapting. Kirby is going to have to adapt a little bit. He doesn't have all of the studs that he used to. He's going to have to try to find another way. Simply playing the way Georgia always did in 2021 and 2022 probably is not going to happen this year. So we have to find new ways to get pressure, or Ole Miss is going to be a problem in 2 weeks.
Who else do you see on the schedule as we kind of look at what Georgia's got in front of them? Because now we're at the point where we're starting to kind of look at where these record predictions going to be at the end of the year, and who's going to make the playoff. Because we understand that, like, if you go 10-2 in the SEC, you're probably a shoe-in unless we get really bottlenecked and a bunch of teams do that.
Yep.
And then we're still going to have this debate until we see it happen or not happen or whatever, that a 9-3 team can or can't get into the playoff if the strength of schedule is enough. You just mentioned Ole Miss on Georgia's schedule.
Yep.
We know that they also have that team from Austin that you love so much on the schedule as well. So you have Kentucky, then you got to go to Auburn, then you get Ole Miss at home. Any concerns about War Eagle as it stands right now? Do they present anything? I don't want to dive into that game too much, but I'm just looking at it from a Georgia perspective.
Yep.
As no pun intended here, the top dog of the SEC coming into the year. You know, some people would have said Texas, some people would have said Georgia, whatever the case may be. You got Auburn in there. You got Ole Miss, like you said. Florida, obviously.
Yep.
So
if I'm looking at it, Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton Jr. have the opportunity to present a problem because Georgia's secondary is a problem. But I do think Georgia's going to be able to get home to be able to neutralize Auburn's offense. I think Ole Miss will be a problem because they can run, they can throw. I think you're going to see a lot of the same things you saw with Alabama, conversions on third down, maybe some conversions on fourth down. Texas, the jury is still out. We got to see a little bit more. The other one I think where you might have a problem, end of the season, Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah.
You know, we went to 8 overtimes last year with Georgia Tech.
Well, you know, I predicted that loss.
Right.
We'll see how right I could actually be. Wouldn't that be insane?
If you were right for once?
If I was right about that, that would be the equivalent of me calling Oregon winning the Big Ten last year, preseason.
Did James Franklin win last night?
Yeah. I think that you and I both know exactly what happened with James Franklin last night. And on that note, it's time to bring in our friend Connor Goodson here from Hawg Sports to talk about what the heck is going on in Fayetteville as there's a departure and now there's a search. Connor, how's it going, my friend? I'm sure it's been a busy 24 hours for you. So just give us the rundown on how things feel in Fayetteville. What's the overall temp check, or is this what everybody wanted? Is this what everybody expected? And what are the expectations moving forward the rest of the year?
I think for the most part, that's what everyone wanted. And I think that we're kind of at a point where yesterday just kind of felt like everyone knew where this thing was headed after that. You know, I was in the stadium. Man, for a team that just dropped 2 games, one being to Memphis, a team that they shouldn't have lost to, for an 11 a.m. kickoff, that stadium was packed, man. I mean, it was rocking, great environment for a game. And for them to just show up like they did, you kind of knew what was coming next. And so I think that, you know, everyone, they kind of felt that way. And now there's the optimism of a coaching search and turning over a new, fresh page. And there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of fans that I'm seeing and feedback. I'm seeing that this is an opportunity for Arkansas to do what Missouri did with Drinkwitz, what Ole Miss did with Lane Kiffin, that really ignited them and spurred their program forward from being kind of that just middle of the tier to being an actual contending program year in and year out. And in the SEC, really, if you have the money and you have the funding behind it, one hire is all you are away from competing in the SEC.
How does Hunter Urix, I probably butchered the name and I apologize. So he made some comments earlier last week about the finances. He said baseball, we're good to go. Basketball, we're good to go. Football, there's still a long way to go. Does that? How do you think that influences and impacts this next coaching hire? I mean, we know Bobby Petrino was making the phone call saying he wants the job.
Mm.
What is that, a slam dunk, or like, you know, does that make other people kind of wary of it, or, you know, where does that set up for Arkansas?
Well, I think that while there's a portion of the fan base and there are some decision makers that do like Bobby Petrino and have that relationship still from all those years ago, I think that the people who probably have a lot more sway want to just start fresh. They don't want any more retread. They don't want to do something that we've tried before. And regardless of how these next 7 games go with Bobby Petrino, I feel like that's just kind of the momentum is going to just let's start over new, bring someone new in and try that way. But to your question, his comments were really overwhelmingly negative. And he tried to clear them up before the game on Thursday or Friday of last week. That wasn't met very well either. And for all intents and purposes, this hire and how these next 2 months go, that could tell us a lot about whether Yurachek is actually at Arkansas much longer. Like his feet are going to be held to the fire through this whole process. And, you know, if the board doesn't and the decision makers don't trust him to do what they want and carry out their vision and get this program to where it really needs to be, then you can probably start to see the writing on the wall, and there might be another change made down the road. But it is kind of weird, though, that, you know, normally when a coaching change happens, you have like a couple of weeks in the off season and everything's kind of moving fast. You have 7 games left of a season. You got 2 to 3 months before really anything seriously probably picks up. I mean, you'll hear all kinds of names getting thrown out there, but this is going to be a wild, long, like just roller coaster of a ride that I don't think that we've really experienced yet with how long we have until stuff really starts to heat up.
Yeah, I think that for me, I guess my question, Connor, and again, it's 8:28 here on SEC Sunday Night Live on the Chief Sports Network. Connor Goodson of Hawg Sports here with us to talk about a coaching change in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Do you think that this team rallies throughout the rest of the year? Because one thing that we've said is that Taylor Green has a lot of talent. And as long as he has a couple of pieces around him, then they're able to put a competitive product onto the field. And we've seen flashes of that. To be honest with you, when you were with us at the beginning of the season, we did our season preview. We disagreed a little bit, right, on where we thought that they were going to land. But the caveat that I threw in even then is if Arkansas can just find a couple of pieces around Taylor Green, this team is dangerous. And I think that was actually proven to be true. That just hasn't resulted in wins. But that doesn't mean that it can't. And so I guess my question is there a world where, you know, you still go steal a few more games and find yourself being competitive? Or do you see a world where kind of like I predicted in the preseason, that after Sam Pittman gets fired, that the team just kind of does what teams do in 2025. And this isn't even an indictment of Arkansas specifically, but in the landscape of college football, are players going to just hit the portal? Are we going to now grab a red shirt and save the rest of this year? Are you going to have guys opting out? Like, what if you could call it right now? You know it better than we do. How do you see this program unfolding the rest of the year?
Well, yesterday it kind of felt like guys quit in a way, like that. Especially the end of the second quarter when Notre Dame they pulled away and really blew the game open. That felt like a team that was just mentally weak and just gave up, especially defensively. They just threw in the towel from an effort standpoint. And so I think, obviously Bobby Petrino's using these next 7 games as an audition. Like it's public. He is using it to gun for the full-time job. So I have no doubt in my mind that everyone on the offense is going to be on their P's and Q's. He's going to have them humming. I don't doubt that. It's just on the defensive side of the ball, like Travis Williams, if the Pittman decision wasn't made today, like Travis Williams was going to be out of a job. Like someone's head was going to be on a stick. It was just a matter of is it going to be Williams or is it going to be Pittman? Like, are we going to do the coordinator thing again, or are we just, going straight to the top? And so with the Pittman thing, I mean, you have to wonder, the defensive staff isn't naive. They hear all that too. The offensive coordinator is gunning for the full-time job. How much do we actually care for that? Like, do the defensive players who have already struggled giving effort consistently, like how much do they actually care to go out there and make Bobby Petrino look good? And there's probably going to be a lot of business decisions being made. Like, guys out there, they realize this probably is a lost cause. They're probably not going to come and make an extra effort on a handful of plays. And does the staff actually care that they're not making effort plays? Like, does Travis Williams say, oh, well, we need to get a young guy in there who's going to try, versus the veteran? Because there's a lot of different wrinkles to how this season plays, and I just don't. I don't recall an interim situation ever really working out, but this just feels like one that's also just a typical run of the mill. Like, the players are probably checking out. I don't doubt, like I said, the offense might look good, at least in the beginning. But it's just the defense has just not looked great from an effort standpoint. And I don't see that this move really invigorates that group either. So I do kind of see to what you said in our months back. I think that this thing kind of unravels and there's no really change in where this thing heads. I just think it's kind of a lost cause at this point.
I think the one thing we saw it last week with Oklahoma State, saw with Virginia Tech, now we sit with Arkansas. I think NIL actually helps the idea of these guys just not hitting the portal or hitting the red shirt, because they realize if they're not playing, they're not getting paid. So I think because you've seen that narrative out there, right? Like, oh, everyone's going to hit the portal. Well, they can't go anywhere right now. They're not playing anywhere this year. So you might as well just stay and get paid, and then deal, take on whatever you have left.
Yeah, and there's no doubt in my mind if they didn't have that 30-day window, there was probably a lot more talk of a decision of letting Pittman at least finish out until his buyout drops $3 million if he goes under 500 since 2021. I think that there was probably a lot more discussion if the 30-day window doesn't open up immediately after a decision is made, because then your hands are tied. It's better to make a decision midway through the season than it is at the end of the season, because you're just giving your whole team a head start to the portal now if you wait till the very end. So I think that you had to do it now, and I think that guys, like you said, there's nowhere for them to go. If they don't play, they're probably not going to get paid. And so, I think it's a lot easier to just kind of keep that group together. But you also probably see guys who, especially the younger ones who have a lot of eligibility left, or some guys that maybe, really want to keep that health together. They realize they may have a shot at the pros, or maybe, they're thinking that long term, maybe they don't just, go all out every play. Maybe they don't want to put their body in a situation where they may, tear an ACL or ruin that. And so I think that you see that kind of stuff too happen. And it's just hard. The thing about Bobby Petrino is he's really particular, and you've got to have guys behind it. And you also need to have someone on staff that can really play it's kind of like a good cop, bad cop Bobby Petrino is always going to be the bad cop. Like, he's always going to be the stickler. He's always going to be getting into people, tearing into people. You need to have that guy who Sam Pittman was kind of that. He's like, he can be that almost nurturer where he can like, all right. I know he was getting into you. Just tell me what you're feeling right now. And then kind of come in and smooth things over. Do they kind of have more of those guys on staff that can really kind of do that? And it's just hard to see this thing really being super successful going forward. But yeah, it's going to be a fun. I'm interested. I kind of wish they were playing tomorrow just to see how this goes. Honestly,
I'm sure the clicks will be strong with you. I'm sure there'll be plenty of interesting things happening.
Oh yeah, well, you're not going to be bored. That's for sure. Connor,
yeah.
I'll give you one more question, and we'll get you out of here. I haven't been on Hawg Sports in the last 3 or 4 hours, so I don't know maybe if y'all have released anything like this or not. And I don't want you to give away any VIP content, so shade this as you will. But in your mind and what you guys are hearing, is there a hot board yet? Like, there's two sides of this, right? Like, there's I'm sure if I go look at the message board, there's plenty of names.
Oh yeah.
And then there's the side of what are you hearing from the school side in terms of how serious is Bobby Petrino as a candidate from your checks standpoint and beyond? Are there names that are getting floated? Have we gotten that far? Or is it still too fresh to kind of make a call there?
I think that there's a couple of names that are maybe rising to the top a little bit. My publisher over at Hawg Sports, Trey Biddy, he put out our hot board, which is VIP content. Like 20-something names are on there. He's got it broken down by buyout, salary, whether they're a right fit, whether they're a wrong fit, kind of those types of things with each candidate. So y'all can go check that out over at Hawg Sports. It's a really great breakdown. But I think seeing feedback and talking to people that are kind of loosely associated with the administration and stuff, it's still very early, so there's nothing concrete. But a guy like Rhett Lashley at SMU, a lot of Arkansas ties, grew up as an Arkansas fan. Gus Malzahn coaching tree, Springdale, Arkansas native, went to Arkansas. That's the name that you keep hearing over and over again. And it seems like that if there's any smoke right now, that's the name that has the most smoke. And, took SMU to the college football playoff. I think the big thing is SMU, they're not poor down at SMU. They have a lot of connections to a lot of money. Does his his childhood love for the Hogs maybe pull him away from making a money decision and seeing how the money situation in Arkansas has been difficult and how there's been a lot of issues in that regard? Does that maybe keep him away? That's really kind of the conversation right now, but it's very early. SMU still has a lot of games, a lot of important games left on their schedule. But right now, if I had to say if there was a leader or a lot of smoke, it's definitely Rhett Lashley. But if you know anything about coaching searches, usually the first name is not the guy that gets the job. It's never the first guy. So just something to watch and follow along, I guess.
Well, we'll definitely be following along. We'll be following along with you and Trey, of course, and everybody at Hawg Sports. Make sure you go follow Connor Goodson here. Make sure that you are staying up to date on the coaching search and everything else that's happening in Fayetteville. If nothing else, the boards are going to be hot, and so is the muffler on Bobby's Harley. All right, we'll get out of here on that comment, and we'll be back right after the break. Thanks again to Connor Goodson. This is SEC Sunday Night live on the Chief Sports.
When playing sports, you want a coach that will fight for you. At Hewitt Diamaduros Law Firm, we've got your back. Whether it's personal injury, insurance disputes, negligence, or wrongful death, our team delivers exceptional legal services that makes meaningful difference in the lives of the individuals and families we work for. Visit hdlawsc.com. hdlawsc.com. Hewitt Diamaduros, we're on your team.
Oh man, the building is on fire.
Emergencies and accidents happen. When you're in the middle of a fire or water event, all you want is for things to return to normal as soon as possible. Resto Pros of the Midlands is with you, guiding you through the process and working with you to get your home or office back in working order. They'll answer your questions, discuss procedures, and can act as your advocate when it comes to processing your insurance claim. Resto Pros Midlands SC.com. Open 24/7 when you need them. Quality that is guaranteed.
At TriFit Physical Therapy and Performance, we believe true health and peak performance start with personalized care. Whether you're an athlete recovering from injury or just chasing your next personal best, We're here to guide your journey. With expert coaching, hands-on therapy, and transparent cash-based pricing, you get the care you need without the insurance red tape. One client drove 100 miles just to see us and said it was worth every mile. Contact us at trifitperformance.com or 803-353-5619. TriFit Physical Therapy and Performance, where recovery meets results.
Yo, what's up?
Baby, let's go!
This is SEC Sunday Night, part of the Chiefs Sports Network.
Welcome back to SEC Sunday Night Live on the Chiefs Sports Network. Again, that was Connor Goodson on the TriFit Performance guest line. He is fantastic. He's been working on his physical therapy and performance. The TriFit is what it sounds like to me, because he is just delivering a quality product with everything that he does. And if you need physical therapy, or you want to, improve your athletic ability, maybe you're training for something, maybe you are just old and stiff and need some work like Craig, then you go talk to Mitch, trifitperformance.com. For all of your needs, whether it's nutrition or recovery or training or physical therapy, whatever the case may be. TriFitPerformance.com, right here in Lexington, for all of you who are in South Carolina and in the Midlands. But if you're not, folks are driving 100 miles plus and say it's well worth it. So drive from wherever you're at to TriFit Performance in Lexington, TriFitPerformance.com. All right, Craig, we talked Georgia and Bama a little bit.
Yep.
We talked LSU and Ole Miss a little bit.
Yep.
One thing that I'll do here for Joy, we want to make sure that she feels included, is make sure that we call out the fact that it appeared that Landry Kiffin's Instagram post was not distracting for Whit Weeks as he scooped up the fumble. I texted her. We are screaming, Whit Weeks is picking up more than Instagram posts. Like, look at this. At that point, LSU's looking great. But here he is yakking all over the place. I'm not sure early on in the game, LSU with the lead. And make no mistake that our friend here, Nathan Keener, says, what did Landry give Whit Weeks? He's out here throwing up on Skycast. Lane Kiffin, in response, says, tempo. All right. So never a dull moment with the Kiffins.
I love the
Never.
Kiffins.
Not at all. Now, we talked about these games a little bit. I think, obviously, we have a winner in Ole Miss. And to be honest with you, Craig, I'm not so sure that we can count LSU out just yet. You look at the schedule.
Well, now, Michael Lynn here in the chat saying he wants to know what's wrong with LSU's offense. Michael, we remember the media. We got, one of our brethren got yelled at by Brian Kelly last week. I would like the man who picked LSU to win the SEC and to make the college football playoff to please tell us why he thinks LSU's okay. LSU's going to be fine.
I didn't necessarily say that I think they're going to be fine. I think Garrett Nussmeier's hurt, first of all, in the same way that Arch Manning is hurt. And you pointed that out multiple times. Something doesn't look right. We now have it revealed that a week or two ago about the oblique injury with Nussmeier. I think that it is still hindering him in some ways. My concerns with LSU are actually around the run game, because this was expected to be a bit of a balanced offense. You always expect them to have receivers. I've had flashes of dynamic receivers from LSU, but I do have some question marks about their production. Like, they just don't feel as dominant as they have in years past, and that's okay. LSU produces wide receivers at a very high clip, and so at some point you're going to have a dip in the quote unquote elite level. We could say the same things about Georgia's defense right now in some position groups where it's just
Georgia alone.
First round after first round, is there a not a lack of talent, but just maybe not as many pure elite, future all pro type guys. You're not going to have Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson out there catching passes in the purple and gold every single year.
Right.
And so while I think they have very high quality wide receivers, maybe there's a little bit of a dip in that, but the run game is really what's been concerning to me. I'm not concerned with the defense whatsoever. I think that Blake Baker did a great job, and they did
I disagree. Joy said that. I keep hearing about LSU being so elite on defense this year. Ole Miss dominated. If you look at number of plays, time of possession, yards, who has like LSU like shut down that is a top offense?
I'm not looking at any of those stats. You know why? Because the stat that matters is the score that's on the scoreboard, and they didn't give up enough points to say, hey, we can't win this football game.
They couldn't make stops. Listen, if they were elite, they could have made the stops when they needed to get the ball back to their broken offense. They did not do it. I'm sorry. They're not elite. They're a good defense, but this idea that they're elite and there's something more than anything than a pretty good defense, I don't buy it.
All right, well, we'll agree to disagree on this particular point.
Oh, I got him a little irritated at me now.
No. I just need to move. We just need to move on. Because we need to cover a couple more things. Okay. Right. So, but my thing is, we definitely see, to your point, Ole Miss leveling up. I think that LSU is still in the conversation because, and mathematically they have to be, right? Yep. On the other game, so Alabama's still undefeated in league play, and they're going to get Vanderbilt next week. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Georgia now catches a conference loss. As we look forward, again, I'm just projecting out towards the conference race.
Yep.
And so both those teams, we would say, still firmly in the discussion.
Yep.
The third game where we saw something happen yesterday, and let me take a moment here for just a second. Vanderbilt takes care of business, undefeated. Missouri takes care of business yesterday against UMass, still undefeated. So both of those teams, you have 3 undefeated teams in the SEC.
They played all of the Little Sisters of the Poor. Way to go. Good job. Let's see you play somebody.
To your point. No, because both teams play South Carolina. Okay. So to the point, Ole Miss, Missouri, Vanderbilt, the 3 undefeateds in the SEC overall. And so again, mathematically, got to factor them into the discussion. Yeah. SEC numbers guy actually tweeted earlier that he believes one of those 3 teams makes it to the college football playoff.
Did he give the numbers on which one he thought, or did he just say, "Hey, one of these 3"?
Not yet. No, not yet. He does a great job with his stats.
And he does a great job.
But this one was specifically just, hey, shockingly, his point was that it's always. I think he had a comment there about it always being the Blue Bloods or something to that effect. So
who's the Blue Blood in that group? Well, I guess it's Missouri because they've been to 2 SEC championships.
It was sarcasm. That was the point. Nobody. This is the year of chaos. We had it in our chat box just a minute ago. Somebody said something about the parity, and I completely agree. Maybe it was Michael, or I'm not sure, but yeah, there's great parity. It appears in the league this year. The other game we haven't talked about yet really is Auburn and Texas A&M. Texas A&M squarely in the race for the SEC as well, right? Top 10 team. Undefeated in the league.
That's another one. I'm sorry. Like I watched.
I know. I know, and that's why I'm laying it out here. That's why I'm laying it out here, because we need to talk about, are they real for Texas A&M? And on the other side of things, is Auburn toast?
0-2 for the third. What are they? Sorry, 0-2 in the league for the 3rd year in a row. And something they hadn't done before. I saw some crazy tweet about that. Auburn looks broken, and shout out to our buddy Jake Crane, good friend of the show.
We'll have him on in 2 weeks. We'll have him on in 2 weeks to recap Auburn, Georgia.
Yep, big Auburn guy, but like he tweeted at some point, "Hugh, will you please run the ball?" And again, you veterans of football and coffee know, Rob and I have said time and again, Hugh refuses to run the ball. I think
when he runs the ball, Craig, what happens?
They win. What a shot!
Like actually every time.
And that's why I'm a little nervous when they play Georgia. I'll be honest, because I don't think Georgia's defense is very good. But getting back to Texas A&M, it wasn't Marcel Reed, and I think a lot of people, Marcel led them to a big win a couple weeks ago against Notre Dame, but the stats were not that pretty. Again, this week, the stats were not really pretty, but the running game was sick. Texas A&M's got two really nice running backs, and if they can get those two going, Elko has shown, unlike Hugh, an ability and a stubbornness to run the ball. I think that keeps the Aggies in the conversation, but I also think history has the Aggies probably somewhere between 8-4 and 7-5.
Yeah, to your point, Marcel Reed, 15 to 22 for 207 and a pick. But Le'Veon Moss, who could be the best running back in the SEC, legitimately.
Yep.
21 carries for 139 and a touchdown. On the other side, Auburn's leading rusher, Cobb, had 6 carries for 28 yards.
Who was the other guy for Texas A&M?
That's it.
Who was the other? Texas A&M, yeah.
Reuben Owens had 3 for 52. Amari Daniels had 12 for 42. And then Marcel Reed had 7 for negative 23. Didn't get it going on the ground. But if you look at Auburn, Cobb has 6 for 28. Jackson Arnold, 15 carries for 11 yards. Damari Alston, 2 for 10. And Singleton, they handed it to him once for 3 yards. A total of 52 yards on the ground, only 24 attempts. Arnold threw the ball 33 times for 125. No touchdowns, no picks. You just can't move the ball. It was a defensive struggle the whole game and for both teams. I mean, it's a 6-point game. So here's the thing about
it wasn't really a 6-point game. That's fool's gold. Auburn had a tip ball that they intercepted and returned to the 2-yard line. The only reason why Auburn got into the end zone is because of that. And I'm going to give a shout out to the hustle of the wide receivers for Texas A&M running all the way back across the field to tackle Auburn at the 2-yard line, knowing that Hugh was probably going to screw it up and make sure they weren't going to run the ball.
That's a beautiful point. That's a beautiful point, Craig. Thank you for making that, because I was
every now and again. I was
just about to step in the fact that Auburn has played these close football games, but you do need to catch breaks like that from time to time. But the scoreboard, if you look at the course of Auburn season, is going to show that they're right there.
Yep.
But it's starting to feel like maybe they're not right there. All right, we're going to hit one more break here on Sunday night. We'll be right back with It Just Means More Genius and our friend Casey from the Message Board Genius podcast. We'll see you in just a minute.
At TriFit Physical Therapy and Performance, we believe true health and peak performance start with personalized care. Whether you're an athlete recovering from injury or just chasing your next personal best, we're here to guide your journey. With expert coaching, hands-on therapy, and transparent cash-based pricing, you get the care you need without the insurance red tape. One client drove 100 miles just to see us and said it was worth every mile. Contact us at trifitperformance.com or 803-353-5619. TriFit Physical Therapy and Performance, where recovery meets results.
When playing sports, you want a coach that will fight for you. At Hewitt Diamaduros Law Firm, we've got your back. Whether it's personal injury, insurance disputes, negligence, or wrongful death, our team delivers exceptional legal services that makes meaningful difference in the lives of the individuals and families we work for. Visit hdlawsc.com. hdlawsc.com. Hewitt Diamaduros, we're on your team. This is SEC, Sunday night on the Chiefs Sports Network.
Welcome back to SEC Sunday Night here live on the Chief Sports Network. Again, we would like to say hello to everyone over in our chat box who are making our conversations great. You guys are what make it fun, and we get an opportunity to hear from more people that are commenting just like you, but maybe in a little more rabid fashion on the message boards. If you have not yet downloaded the Chief Sports app, make sure that you do so right now, immediately, available for you on the Apple Store and on Google Play. You can go on there and get the Chief Sports app, and you're going to be able to see all of our Chief Sports South Carolina content, all of the Chief Sports nationwide content with College Football Forever. JC and Morgan are there. You have us here on SEC Sunday Night. You got Chief Sports High School. If you're in the state of South Carolina, then you have 4-Quarter Friday every Friday at 9 a.m. breaking down matchups across the state. Casey, that cup is disgusting. Get it out of our SEC show. And then you also have the high school scoreboard and so on and so forth. All right, look at that. All right, welcome in, Casey Cregan, the producer, the esteemed and talented and hilarious producer of Message Board Genius podcast. Shout out MBG. Shout out to Who's. We got to start there, right? This is the SEC, but I mean, let's take a minute. Let's take a minute for the Wahoos. What's going on? What a field storming.
Yeah, it was awesome, wasn't it? It was great. It like completely engulfed those players. All the pearl clutching in the Twitter feed was a little bit immense on Friday. But yeah, congrats to Who's. It's a great thing for UVA, and of course I have to grasp on wherever I can. But Clemson alum, 2001 Clemson alum Tony Elliott, not on the hot seat so much longer. So excited for Who's. It's kind of weird on the show. We got Utah State at 3-1 and battled with Vandy this weekend. We got Alabama. I'm the low man on the totem pole, which is.
Well, Mississippi State's 3-1, buddy. Mississippi State's 3-1.
Yeah, that's where my money goes, but my heart is still,
I get it.
Hey, shout out to Meemaw, even though we're still sitting left on
no
red.
shout out to Meemaw.
I was going to show the shot. Give me a minute. We're still sitting here. She left us on red, but I guess Bama won, so she's probably riding high.
Oh, now she wants to come on the show. She doesn't want to come on the show when I invite her beforehand. Oh, but now she'll be ready to come on the show.
She was working, to her defense. If you listened to the Message Board Geniuses last week, she missed.
I hope she was okay. I'm glad she was okay.
She was fine. She was traveling for work. Apparently, we have to work. This isn't our full-time job.
We do?
So, yeah.
I thought this was work. Yeah. All right, sorry. Anyway, we should probably get started because Craig sent 45 message board posts.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I just gave up. I gave up today. I just threw my hands up. As we get ready
to close out of here. And we already put up the tweet with Whit Week, so we'll skip over that one. You tell me, Casey, would you like to start in the onslaught that is Dogs 24/7, or do we want to mix it up to start off with a little bit here?
Did something happen in Athens?
Well, let's just start here. You don't have to read. You don't have to read them like this, but I just wanted MBG's commentary. Fun while it lasted.
Yeah, Kirby is Dabo 2.0. I mean, I knew that one was coming from you, and I'm sure that this is up for our meltdown of the week on the Message Board Geniuses podcast. So we'll see, but you may hear it again. But the culture is dead, according to Chickamauga Dog. Look at that. I know where Chickamauga is. It was a fun run. There are no Nakobe Deans holding Channing Tindall accountable. Those teams were talented and accountable to one another. Lane, Faulkner, and Sark are going to feast on this defense. Mississippi State way work us over as well. I think he meant
What does that mean, way work us over?
Well, the W and the M are, at least on the same keyboard.
They're on the same keyboard.
They're not close to each other, but they're on the same keyboard.
Maybe this was a phone post and it just autocorrected. We'll go with that. Okay. Yeah.
Do you want me to? So I used to teach a class on the Civil War. Do you want me to talk about the Battle of Chickamauga?
No. Yeah. No. Yeah. On another show, some history show somewhere. Does Mississippi State have a chance to win the Battle of the Bulldogs this year? Is that what we're saying?
No.
All right, clip that.
Stop.
Clip that. Let's go to the next one.
Embarrassing, says Brantley County _dog. Kirby should be ashamed to show his face. Absolutely embarrassing. Georgia fans are losing faith in you.
Wow.
Kirby is like 575 million and 3 against anybody not named Alabama, and yet he's getting the Ryan Day treatment. It feels like.
We continue.
I don't even have a chance to react to any of them. Did I send all of these really?
Yeah, you did.
Having fun with this.
I was really mad. I was really mad. Let's be honest. Was I a little angry last night?
We've won, says Kirby lost this game. What happens in the dark will come to the light. Oof,
what does that mean?
I thought all that happened in the dark was blue lights and sirens in Athens, but I'm not sure if that came to light.
All right, let me respond to that. So Herm Edwards used to had that quote, "What you do in the dark will shine in the light." And what that is supposed to mean when you use that quote is all of the hard work that nobody sees and all of those countless hours that you put in that no one sees, it shows up when the bright lights come on. So sorry, we've won. You used
the opposite too, right? It means the opposite too, right? If you cut corners, then that shows in the light as well. All right, let's just keep going. I think we have another one.
Dabo 2.0 until proven otherwise, and our friend.
What does that even mean?
Drake. I guess you win 2 national championships, and I don't know.
That's all.
Rob, would you like to win 2 national championships? Just curious.
Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Let's move on.
We have one more.
And then Bulldog Gons says Kirby is no longer hunting, folks. Kirby is coasting. Might as well be Clemson at this point. I don't understand why Clemson's catching strays here.
All the strays.
Our coaches don't coach to a standard. Our players don't play to a standard. Glad we got 2 natties when we did, but it has been downhill since.
They lost like what 3? What have they lost 3-4 times since they've?
Well, technically speaking, they do coach and play to a standard. It would be impossible not to have some standard. I think that what he means is that the standard has been lowered, perhaps, but I would find it hard to navigate that there's zero standard. There's always a standard. You know what I mean?
What happened in Athens that all these people are so mad? I don't get it. Was there a game last night?
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
I think General Beauregard said that they were 2 for 1 beers, but they brought it back.
Okay. Let's ask this question before we read the Auburn one. Is the Kirby hate warranted? Like, no. I can't get on board. I can't get on board. Listen, the one thing I can get on board with, is that you and I have said throughout off seasons and seasons and whatever, is that there seems to be a lack of discipline when it comes to actually breaking rules. But from a production on the field standpoint, and so there's been questions about, like, is somebody pulling at the thread of the culture, and does that slip up and bite them at some point? But this game doesn't feel like that type of thing for me.
No, you just got beat. Like at the end of the day last night, Alabama was just a little bit better. And like I said, there's 2 plays. Like, I don't know, Casey, if you heard, I got a little impassioned before Connor came on. We had a chance we had a drop pass that would have 1 for 6. We convert the 4th down. We win the game. I mean, I would love to say but Lord knows I would never even touch a Georgia uniform in all of my 43-year-old grandeur. But crap. I get it. But it's frustrating as hell because it's confusing. But I think there is a little bit of a mental there is a mental piece to it. I have no doubt about it. Georgia plays differently against Alabama than they play against anybody else. If that game's against Tennessee, that game's against Texas, that game's against anybody else, they win that game in the second half. For whatever reason, Courtney, Alabama is just a little bit better than Georgia.
Ooh.
And I think it's more mental than it is physical.
Wow. You heard it here first, folks.
Let's keep boosting the Bama fans while we're at it, indirectly, of course. But here we go.
Yeah, we didn't do this on purpose. From Auburn Undercover, it's time to change conferences, says TCOB Tiger. We need to be in a weaker conference. We have become a basketball school. We cannot get a good head coach because of the money handlers. We are now a model school for head coach buyouts. Potato Tits and now Frozen will get a nice buyout. We've been a lower tier SEC program for years. Not going to change anytime soon. This is beyond pathetic and sad.
I don't even know who he's referencing there. Frozen?
Hugh Freeze.
Who's Potato Tits?
I don't know. I didn't understand. This guy's a VIP.
Is that Harsin? I think it's Harsin. We need an Auburn person. Can somebody from the Plains translate this for us?
Casey, can you search LinkedIn? Because I'm pretty sure that's that guy's LinkedIn photo. So
where are you? Where are you, Jake Crane?
All right, Jake. In 2 weeks, we'll
translate. Yeah, we'll come back to this and see if Jake can decipher.
I have never heard that, and we've been dealing with message boards. I've been a part of the show for 2+ years now, so I have never heard that before.
Yeah.
Here's my
Casey,
thing about
what's your thought on Auburn, Casey, before Rob gets in?
You know, I just saw the game. I just saw the score yesterday, but I was getting your text messages and texts from other friends that were watching the game, and I think you guys said it right before I came on about not running the football. It's like it just seems like I don't know if he's just preemptively just starting to throw the ball, and they can't protect Jackson Arnold at all. He's just getting sacked left after. I can't even speak tonight. It's been a long weekend. He's been getting sacked like crazy. I don't know. You figure I'm not an X's and O's guys. I don't play one on TV. I don't act like one. But you feel like you can throw a draw in there, or maybe even a screen to kind of have an extension of your running game, just to kind of slow down something. I don't know. Do they not have running backs? I think they beat Clemson out a couple times for a couple running backs. I'm not even sure.
Jackson Arnold's a pretty good runner too.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that's really frustrating to me is that we saw that early on, and we also know that's how Hugh operates. So, like, honestly, I'm baffled. I don't know what's going on.
And again, if you and I know, right? If you and I know, then football guys know. I mean, you guys are definitely more X's and O's and deeper involved than I am, but like, if I can sit back at home and say, "Oh, they're throwing here," on even from like an I formation,
yeah, you can just feel
it. There's something wrong there.
Yeah, absolutely.
The people actually study the film know it's coming too.
Here's my thing about Auburn, and actually what this poster said, and I'll throw it back up for just a second so that I can read it verbatim. Where did he say it in the middle? We are the model school for head coaching buyouts. They've had way too quick of a trigger, and that's dug them into this hole. It has dug them into
Harsin should still be the coach.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that necessarily, but I've said the same thing about Florida, and I think that I can make a better argument about Florida that they shouldn't have fired Dan Mullen. I've said it all along. I've said it a million times. The recruiting did not improve, and so you kind of have the same situation here with Auburn. Is you keep pulling the trigger and you keep pulling the trigger and you keep pulling the trigger, and at some point you got to let somebody crawl out of the hole. And so, is it going to be
who was going to crawl? But who's going to? But who was the guy to crawl out of the hole? That's what I'm going to ask you because they got rid of Gus.
Who are you going to go hire? Here's my point. If you fire Hugh Freeze today,
yep.
Who are you going to get that is good enough to come in with the roster? They did.
John Summerall.
Is he good enough to? I mean, they got to give him time too, don't
Isn't
they?
Isn't he earmarked for Lexington?
Okay, you have a choice between going to Lexington or you're going to go to Auburn.
Says alma mater.
I don't care. It doesn't matter if that's your alma mater. You're going to get Rhett Lashley if you're Auburn, or you're going to get John Summerall. And I think that they would be better. Hugh has lost his fastball. There's something that just doesn't look right. The play calling has not matched.
Harsin never had it.
But that's what I'm saying though, is like if Harsin probably was the wrong fit, as I say that as Georgia State almost beat them like their second game.
Probably.
But again, you're saying like, oh, we're becoming a model for coaching buyouts. How about the fact you blew out Gus Malzahn? He won 6 SEC games that year, and then you put Kevin Steele in as an interim, and then you had to buy him out, and then you got Harsin. And it was just a total disaster. And now you have Hugh Freeze, which he hasn't figured out. Do you want to stay on the golf course or actually want to coach a football game?
So you have a hiring problem as well. But here's my issue is that if you
John Cohen's a problem because he responds like he came out against the SEC officials in Oklahoma. Did like on a Wednesday or a Thursday. What took so long? Is your communications department that bad to be able to respond that quick? I think maybe you have to look higher up, because Auburn has the same problem that Texas had before Chris Del Conte and Steve Sarkisian came in. They do not have alignment. They're boosters, and they have some boosters. They have some big funders that like to make decisions. They have an AD that doesn't have them corralled. There is no alignment, and that leads to the disaster that is the Auburn Tigers right now.
And every time you fire a coach, you knock yourself down at least 2 rungs Players are going to leave. You have to raise money for the buyout. Then you got to raise money to go buy a new roster.
Did Indiana get knocked down 2 rungs when they fired Tom Allen and then hired Kurt Cignetti?
That's not the SEC, Craig.
I'm just saying it's also
Don't
Indiana.
talk about both sides of your mouth when we called them out last year for not being legitimate, and they coasted into the playoff on a nobody schedule.
Listen, they went into Kinnick Stadium. They went into Kinnick Stadium this week and won. You don't go into Kinnick Stadium and wave to the kids and then win a game.
You know, I mean, I guess that's fair unless you can score more than 10 points. All right.
They scored 17, I believe.
Do we need exactly? Do we need to look at? Let's look at next week. Let's look at next week as we have quite the lineup. Casey, you tell us what's going on with MBG Pod this week. You guys,
I don't know.
Do you have anything? We need to call MBG and find out what you have going on.
Yeah, I think we're recording either Tuesday or Wednesday like we normally do, and it'll be out Friday morning. Although, I don't know. We might have a week off, as a matter of fact. I don't know.
Are you guys doing fall ball, baseball?
I hope so.
That'd be so
baseball
good.
preview next week.
A draft of what's your favorite flavored Diet Coke?
That's what.
I mean, great show last week. Genius of the week. Thoughts? Anybody? Where do you think it's going to fall?
I thought Nick Della Torre was awesome from
yeah, absolutely.
He just brought it, and I didn't expect him to, take my intro question about Dabo and actually like wax poetic about it. So
you love that, right?
I was looking for a little bit more, funny, but he didn't. He just spoke the truth. He threw some truth bombs at me, so I got it. But he was great. He was great to talk to and to kind of hear about what's going on right there front and center at Florida. So this week, no, I don't think we have a guest this week. I think we're just going to do the 4 of us if we do a show, because a couple of our guys are lawyers in real life, and one of them may have something going on, like more important.
Yeah, we're going to get you going.
We'll see.
All right, week six beginning next week. College game day. Headed Tuscaloosa. They got Vandy and Alabama. Seeing college game day at a Vanderbilt game, no matter what it is interesting. This has become the premier matchup of the week, and I think we're going to build it up like Vanderbilt is going to go in and be competitive again because they're 5-0, because we like Diego Pavia, because there's so many stories, because of the win last year. I'm going to say it right now. This one's not close. Roll Tide. All right. We also have Texas opening league play. I'm not going to give you a chance to respond. I'm just going to move on. We also have Texas and Arch opening league play in Gainesville. And now, Craig, are we chomping? Oh no, okay.
No, I don't. Listen, Billy. There was our good buddy Dr. J. Will had a phenomenal segment on his podcast last week, and the question was: is it Florida's offense or Iowa's offense? That's all you have to know about the Gators. Arch, it's not broken. Florida's offense is. I've got Arch in the horns up probably by about 13.
We'll just look at it this way: Texas's defense, regardless of what Arch does, is still legitimate. Florida's defense is decent, but
he tore up Sam Houston State. He's ready.
It's not on the level that Texas's defense, I think, is actually really good. What do you think? What do you think, Casey? Bigger message board meltdown from
we always
for the Gators
Texas.
Next week?
Yeah, Florida's kind of getting old this season already, and what are we on week 5? So
it'll be week 6.
Old. We're seeing a lot of them already. So I would like to see a little bit more Texas. So go Gators.
Who do you got in the Kent State Oklahoma game?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, Kent State Oklahoma.
Oklahoma by 100.
Poor Kent State. Remember when Joe Moorhead was
even with a backup quarterback by 100? I mean,
I'm not worried about that.
Joe Moorhead was like the dude, and then or is he at Akron? He's at one of those two. It's somewhere in Ohio. It's the same thing.
37 max.
Sorry,
in Ohio.
It really.
You got some. The cowbells will be ringing in College Station. Does Mississippi State find a big win here?
No.
Yes.
I love Casey. Casey's just hardcore nodding. No.
I don't think they're ready yet. They're close. They are close, but I think they blew it yesterday. To be honest with you, I know you guys talked about that earlier.
I do too.
It's still weird to see. I think Texas A&M's like 5 or 6 in the AP poll, whatever it is.
They're a 14.5-point favorite in this game too.
Give me the points. Give me the cowbells. Blake Chapin, ring it, baby.
He took a beating yesterday. He got hit. Lot.
He did. He's got a nice bat today. Get some of that ice cream.
Yeah. So here's my question with that game: is do we think Texas A&M's offense can score 30 on Mississippi State?
I think this one will be a lot like the Tennessee game. To be quite honest, I think this is probably a high-scoring game. Because I don't think Texas A&M's defense is very good either. I just think Auburn's offense is that bad. One more,
Mississippi State's got a couple of running backs too. I mean,
they do. Mississippi State looked really good yesterday.
Bothwell.
Yeah.
Shout out Fluff Bothwell.
Both
Absolutely.
were pretty good yesterday when they took the ball around the outside.
What about Georgia and Kentucky? No, we don't want any takers on that one?
Around the outside. Yeah. What did you say? Georgia, Kentucky? I'm getting there. I don't think that Mississippi State
we're not going
can be held down for long. They're going to get one eventually. I said this in the offseason. I'll continue to say it. They're better than we thought they were. They're going to punch up and get somebody. This could very well be the week. We don't trust Texas A&M around here. I'm just telling you.
Sorry, David.
This could be it. All right. Kentucky, Georgia is a get-right game for Georgia for sure. Kentucky's real bad. Worst team in the league. They're on a second quarterback.
How angry do you think Kirby Smart is going to be this week in practice too?
It's a worst case scenario for Kentucky, to be honest, that Georgia lost that game. This one has no shot. There's no line.
A 70 burger on it.
There's no line. I'm looking at it right now. You got
there is no
Texas
line.
is a 7.5-point favorite. Alabama's 10.5. Oklahoma, even with Kent State, we got a 45.5-point line in that one. But I'm looking at Kentucky, Georgia, and we've put no odds on this game yet. So does that?
Yikes.
What does that say? I don't really know. Does that mean
Georgia's going to run over
that
Kentucky?
bad?
Georgia's
like an FCS school. I agree. It's going to be really bad. And if I said anything, I said this before South Carolina played them. I watched a lot of Kentucky tape last week preparing to be on Inside the Gamecocks. Make sure that you tune in tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show with our good friends Jamie Bradford and who probably Mike Morgan tomorrow morning, and then of course Phil and JC will have you for Inside the Gamecocks, the show at noon. I'm on there every Wednesday at 10 a.m. So make sure you tune in for all you Gamecock fans or SEC fans, because we have a lot of talk there. Mike Morgan of the SEC Network is there to take a drive around the SEC every week as well. But anyway, I watched a lot of Kentucky tape, and what I found in those first 3 weeks, Toledo, Ole Miss, Eastern Michigan, leading into South Carolina, is that they're very susceptible to the quarterback run. Lenore's got it going a little bit more yesterday. Some of it was scramble plays, but some of them were just, and Shane Beamer said this after the game, it wasn't necessarily they called more runs, but he just pulled it more on his option, on his reads. And so then you look at a team like Georgia going in, and we know what Gunnar Stockton wants to do. And that's really where I'm leading up to with this conversation, this argument, is if they're very susceptible to the quarterback run, watch out for Gunnar Stockton getting loose, because it's not just design runs. Mm-hmm. If you drop back and there's a little bit of a wrinkle or a crease, you can just kind of go. You're going to get an easy 10 or 15 on this defense. So look for a big Gunnar Stockton game, because they'll give it up throwing the ball too. It's kind of both ways.
Fair enough.
There it is. All right, boys.
Hang on. Who's Clemson got this week?
Chapel Bill.
Yep.
See you next week, everybody.
Yep. SEC Sunday night on the Chief Sports Network. Shout out to Casey from MBG Pod. Shout out to MBG, always for the content. Thanks to Connor Goodson for coming on the Tri-Fit Performance Guest Line. We are Rob and Craig on SEC Sunday Night, brought to you by Hewitt Domaduros Law, HDLawSC.com. We'll be back next Sunday to react to all the things happening in Week 6 of the greatest conference in all of college football. SEC. We'll see you next time. Oh, yeah, shout out to Joy. We love you.